Morning. My name's Dan from Fairfax Preparedness. Welcome to the channel. Just thinking about Preparedness Month and trying to do a video a day for you, build my channel, and all of that. But I also do, as I did my introductory video, posted on the 1st. I have a bachelor's degree in emergency management, so I do posts on our on my employer forum for all of my staff as well. And one of the things that I really try to touch on is over generalities. Really, you could go really deep in the weeds about a lot of this stuff. I probably won't do that unless I get comments that for additional information, mostly because there's a lot of great channels out there. I'm not one of those preppers that is going to be that's all about the zombie apocalypse. No. It's about being prepared for things that are realistic. So in emergency management, we discuss what the hazards are. And there's a hazards chart that emergency managers use to develop what the risks are in a certain area. So one of the things that you want to look at in your area is should be posted. If not, you can ask your local emergency manager. They should have a risk assessment and a hazard list for your area. It should be in the your area's emergency operations plan, which should be posted for public use. But again, looking at that, the hazards and assessment for your area, what is it that your emergency manager deems as the highest risk? Is it floods? Is it hurricanes? Is it personal crises? Is it a riot, civil unrest of some kind? What is it that you have that you are that's in your area that's that high risk, that hazard? And then how do you prepare for that? In California, when I lived in California, it was fires, because it's a desert, it's dry all the time, and California doesn't get rain. We got maybe a quarter inch of rain a year. Primo. Where I live in Virginia now has had a significant drought, and some time ago, earlier in the year, March-April time frame, we had really significant fires. Grass fires up and down the mountains in the Shenandoah Valley. Some of it actually made national news. Page County, the town of Luray, had some significant fires. There were areas on the other side of the mountains into West Virginia that had a lot of real estate burned, a lot of parkland in the George Washington Forest Park and along the Appalachian Trail that burned. Nobody got injured. Nobody got seriously injured, but there's lot of parklands got burned because there was a drought. So that didn't affect anybody that I knew directly, but I knew people that did have loved ones affected by that. Houses got burned and so on. A lot of it was parkland that was burned, but it did burn up to some residential areas in West Virginia, and there were some people that both lost farmland, which means they lost part of their livelihood with crops burning, or animals that chickens or goats or horses or whatever that got stuck and died as a result of the fire. But also people that had their homes burned. So again, what are those hazards? What are those things? How do you plan for that? Again, looking at what your area is, and assessing those hazards. Let's be practical about how we prepare for it. FEMA recommends 3 days worth of supplies per member per household. At least 3 days, right? So if you build a ready bag or a go bag at the recommendation of FEMA, you should have one bag per person with 3 days worth of food and water, and clothing and survival stuff, like a light, a way to start a fire, flashlight, chem light, way to start a fire, some sort of shelter item, weather appropriate clothing, etc. But additionally, if you have to bug out, how are you going to a Motel 6? Are you going to Hyatt? Are you going to a hotel somewhere? Do you have to drive? If you live in Florida, and a hurricane comes, how far do you have to go to get out of the way? Are you going to be completely out of the way? No, depending on where you go. If the hurricane comes into the Gulf, you're going to, you can't go to Texas from Florida. You really can't go into Mississippi, or Louisiana. Where do you go? East Texas, you go north, right? You got to have a plan. You got to be able to make a move based on that plan. Practice that plan. Make sure other people know your plan, your extended family. My family, I have family that lives in Florida and North Carolina, and if something happens, because of where I am, they send a text message or a phone call to either myself or my wife to say, hey, there's a storm, we're going to this location, we're going to see friends in whatever, to be out of the way. Now, is it completely out of the way? No. Storms typically come up the coastline, and everybody gets rain and thunderstorms and hail or whatever is associated with that particular storm. But it's typically less than what would have happened if they had stayed on the coast, right? So be aware of that. Make a plan. Know the hazards in your area. Practice that plan. And have stuff ready to go. It's not rocket surgery. I am, unfortunately, preppers have kind of made a bad taste in people's mouths, because there's, a lot of the people in the preparedness community really are trying to be self-sufficient and trying to be prepared for everyday emergencies. But there's that outside fringe that ends up on Doomsday Preppers TV show back on National Geographic several years ago. They did 2 or 3 seasons, and it was all kinds of people on there that were, I'm preparing for the end of the world in this. I'm preparing for the end of civilization because of this event. I'm preparing for a civil war, a zombie apocalypse. It was all fringe stuff. It was all things that statistically had very little chance of happening. If you prepare for the worst and nothing happens, you've lost nothing. But being realistic about what you're preparing for is, in my opinion, a very good place to start. You don't need to go crazy about it. You don't need to be. It doesn't need to be wild. It doesn't need to be wild. Should you prepare for civil unrest in your neighborhood? Have you seen the news? Yeah, you probably should. Especially since 2020, 2018, the whole George Floyd thing. Yeah, you should probably be prepared for civil unrest in your community. I'm prepared for civil unrest in my community, and I am not allowed to carry at my job. I carry a firearm at my job, but I do carry when I'm not at work, all the time. And I can tell you that in my community had a police-involved shooting that wasn't as bad as everybody thought, but there was a significant potential for it. So again, be prepared. Have that security. Go get training. Go do self-defense classes. Go take a firearms class and get your concealed carry permit. Go make sure that you have food and water, a means to set up shelter, ways to start a fire and cook food and have clean water. Those are all great things. I encourage all of you to look at ready.gov. FEMA's website, ready.gov, has it's very basic materials. It's very, very basic stuff. It's a place to start. That's the key. It's a place to start. Look at ready.gov. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions on it. I'd be more than happy to answer it. And while you're here, like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to. I'd love to build a community. I'd love to share my knowledge and as well as learn from you. I'm hoping to do some more videos about being self-sufficient, self-sustaining, growing your own food and that kind of thing. Like I said, I'm also in my introductory video on the 1st. I'm going to be doing classes with 4R Farms LLC. I'm going to be one of their instructors for food preservation. I'm going to be doing some freeze drying food, and some freeze-dried meals with them, and teaching some canning classes, and just how to prepare food for the month. Meal plan. Simple stuff. Meal planning. It's a good start. It doesn't have to be just chicken and rice. It can be spaghetti and meatballs, right? Variety is the spice of life, so make it spicy. But like I said, just wanted to put this video out. National Preparedness Month. Stay ready, stay prepared. Check out the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you out there.